Ah là, la musique qui se finit trop tôt. Hop. Euh, Bonsoir à tous, j'espère que vous allez bien. Oula. Que vous avez passé une bonne journée. Je suis en train de réfléchir à quel jour on est, c'est dramatique. Mercredi. Ah, c'est le milieu de la semaine, c'est bien ça. On commence à voir le week-end. Du coup, Bulbisoir, monsieur chat, tu vas bien? La fille qui commence par foutre des vents, c'est beau. Aujourd'hui, on se retrouve pour Stanley Parable. Je sais, hein, j'ai beaucoup de temps de retard. Je sais pas en quelle année il est sorti. Mais, mais j'ai beaucoup de retard pour beaucoup de jeux. Ah oui, 2013, effectivement. Du coup. Est-ce que j'ai fait du chat? Bouh. Même pas peur. Hop, le but bibot, c'est bien, tu t'es réveillé. Le tweet, j'ai encore oublié le tweet. Hop. Bon, du coup, si jamais, hein, pour le son. Ah, je sais que c'est le jeu aux multiples fins, hein. Mais je me souviens que j'avais vu des streams dessus à une époque lointaine. Mais depuis, j'ai oublié. Voilà. De toute façon, avec ma mémoire, ce sera plutôt inquiétant, c'est le jour où je commencerai à me souvenir. Ah, normalement, j'ai tout réglé. Ouais, loading. Ouais, vas-y. C'est quoi de ce temps de chargement? Je suis pas d'accord. Je n'ai absolument pas ouvert ma canette. C'est le fameux Stanley. Mais en plus, il y a beaucoup de gens qui l'ont fait, hein, mais moi j'ai toujours 3 ans de retard. Non, bah, 3 ans de retard, hein, ça pourrait être gentil, évidemment. D'ailleurs, il faut aussi que je fasse Undertale bientôt, un jour. Il est dans ma liste des prochains jeux à faire.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Enchanté,
Stanley worked for a
Stanley.
company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation.
Bah non, t'as ton
Something was very
ordinateur.
clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
On spoilera rien pour le plaisir de la découverte. Ah, vous pouvez spoiler à partir du moment que vous me voyez galérer pendant environ 155 ans. C'est quoi ces portes fermées?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go
Ils t'ont
to the meeting
abandonné.
room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Salle de réunion. Tu le dis. Sinon le jeu n'a aucun intérêt, évidemment. Attendez, ça y est. Moi je sens que je vais me perdre, hein. Ah, ça ressemble vaguement à une salle de réunion. Ouais, il manque une table, hein, quand même.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his
Ah bah
left.
si tu le dis, je t'écoute pour l'instant. Ça, c'est une salle de
Yet there
réunion.
was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Ah, c'est où le bureau de ton patron?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ah, non. Ah, vu le changement de décor. Y a personne.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra
Ah,
secret
28-45, au secours, j'ai pas de stylo, je vais oublier.
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Bah, vu que tu viens de me le dire, tout va bien. Attends, tu me dis qu'il y avait un digicode derrière le bureau. Ah oui.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless.
Ah, bah tu me le répètes, d'accord. Même pas besoin de retenir, on mâche le boulot là.
2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the
Ah oui,
keypad,
quel grand
Stanley
hasard.
happened to
Ah, je suis
input
d'accord.
the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing.
Je n'ai absolument
He
rien lu sur
stepped into the
mon
newly
écran.
opened passageway.
Ah oui. Il fait tout sombre. J'aime pas quand il y a de la lumière, je vois à quel point je devrais nettoyer mon écran.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job.
Ah ça y est, t'as retrouvé
Why did he do
ton
this
cerveau?
now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight
pourquoi on
ahead
y va,
through the
mais on y va,
large
hein.
door that read Mind Control Facility.
J'allais dire, je suis sûre qu'il le contrôlait. À gauche, c'est écrit Escape.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did
Trop
this
d'écran.
place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Ah bah allons-y. Soyons fous.
Now the monitors jumped to life,
Oh là.
their true nature revealed. Each
Des chiffres
bore the
partout, au
number
secours.
of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ah, vous avez dû servir de cobaye à une expérience. De cobaye.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe it couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly
ballot, hein.
blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Ça n'a pas l'air de faire grand-chose. Il est possédé, on l'a drogué. Surtout. De la drogue, tiens, ça faisait longtemps. Ah, il y a le gros bouton là. Mais c'est pas un bouton? Je peux pas appuyer dessus? Je sais même plus d'où je viens. Je viens de là ou de l'autre côté?
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Off, alors. C'est bien, on ne voit plus rien.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay
t'as tracé tout droit.
unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand.
J'allais dire, c'est une vraie sortie au moins?
No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Bon. On recommence. On n'a plus qu'à trouver des multiples 500 000 fins du jeu.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Parce que je vais pas recommencer à suivre tout ce qu'il me raconte, parce que je vais refaire la même chose, on n'est pas sorti de l'auberge. Moi je me souviens surtout qu'il y avait Escape à côté de l'ascenseur en bas. La dernière fois. C'est pareil, il y avait... Oh, quoique je vais quand même aller jusqu'à la salle de... Ici, il y a le chemin à droite. Non mais j'écoute rien, moi je vais à droite.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ah bah allons l'admirer.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
J'ai pas beaucoup dormi cette nuit. Je suis en train de me dire, ça fait 20 minutes que j'ai commencé le live et je suis déjà fatiguée, c'est dramatique.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Non. Moi j'écoute rien, je reviens pas par le droit chemin.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get
Ça y
back,
est, on
he
est perdu
needed
le
to go,
narrateur. Ah bah c'est bien, ah bah tout est fermé, ça va être bien.
From here it's left.
Ah non, il y a une porte qui s'est ouverte.
Oh no, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Dissidente, ah bah toujours. Enfin.
No, 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 not the
Fous-toi de
right.
ma gueule,
Why would
le
I
jeu.
have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this
Faut
way.
savoir à la fin, hein. Oh. Bonjour le camion.
No, 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 no. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh,
Vers la porte.
who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
Je suis pas d'accord, moi.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I
Ah non, là, t'as
definitely
fumé, hein, en
restarted the
fait.
game
Hein.
over, completely fresh. Everything should be...
Ça y est, là, il perd la boule.
Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on.
Et en plus, il ose m'accuser, hein.
I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find
mais j'ai trop de
the
choix, là.
story.
Où je vais, hein, mais... on va se perdre. Ça va être bien. Ça va être super. Au secours!
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? All of his co-workers were gone.
En train de perdre le narrateur.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
Elle
missed a
joue
memo.
avec.
Okay,
Ah bah y a pas de
it's
porte.
worse. I might be remembering this wrong.
De mieux en mieux.
It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind.
Tu vois, y a
Not
pas
the
de
story.
porte.
Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this
rien
at
du
all.
tout, hein.
We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
55 redémarrage plus tard.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
T'as pas pu trouver plus jaune?
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there?
C'est pas
Or to
drôle.
put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is
Tu veux que je grimpe au
inevitably
plafond
conjured
aussi?
into being via the very manifestation
Eh
of the
bien,
nature
bonsoir,
of
Raven,
life
tu vas bien?
itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Je t'ai pas dit de casser les oreilles de tout le monde, hein. Le jeu, hein, évidemment. Je peux aller par là? Je sais plus, au secours. Si je lui par là, tout de la gueule, le jeu. Le jeu est possédé à Mala, le jeu...
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern.
Quelle plante? J'ai pas vu de plante, moi.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No.
Ah ouais, et il y a beaucoup de lignes jaunes, hein.
Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no,
Ah, bah tiens,
not
encore.
again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you?
Ah
after
non.
everything we've been
Oh mais
through,
quel enfer!
Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right?
Ah bon?
Why can't we make up our own
Moi j'ai
story?
perdu mon cerveau,
Something
vous savez.
exciting, daring, mysterious. Oh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Le jeu qui te rend fou.
Yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination.
On tournerait pas un peu
Whatever it might be,
en carré?
I'm ready for it. Oh no, not you again.
Ah tiens, une
Stanley,
ligne.
I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Ah, moi je m'en vais, hein, j'ai pas encore appris à sauter au plafond.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the
Oh
opportunity.
punaise,
In
je suis
fact,
crevée.
I
Vous
believe
croyez
I
que je vais
even
réussir à
need to
survivre
think
à 3 heures de
here.
live?
Just walk in circles for a minute.
Marche en rond
Okay,
pendant une minute,
so
mais
I
rien du
know
tout.
that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where
Atchoum.
we're going?
Voilà.
And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant
La fin
ending?
confuse? Bah tiens, on se
We're
demande
supposed to
pourquoi.
restart the game, what, eight times?
C'est pas le jeu à jouer quand tu es crevé, ah bah ça promet parce que là je dors à moitié debout, je suis éclatée.
Determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Mais tu n'auras pas le choix.
And the timer stopped. Does that mean did we do it?
Le jeu
Did we
devient
break the
fou. Ah, en
cycle?
fait, c'est pas encore fini.
Whatever it is that made this schedule, how would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or
Elle
the
dit oui,
journey.
quand je fais mon planning,
They're
je ne
always
prévois
saying
pas
that
les jours où je vais
life
être
is about
crevée ou
the
pas.
journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll
C'est
find
bien des
out,
problèmes
won't
du
we?
planning, entre autres.
Eventually. Well, in the meantime,
Ah, rip.
all of his co-workers were gone.
Ah bah tiens,
What
ça y est,
could it
on a
mean?
rembobiné.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alors ce coup-ci, je vais être sage, je vais aller jusqu'à la salle de réunion.
When Stanley came to a set of two
Je
open
me souviens
doors,
qu'il y avait des
he
trucs.
entered the door on his left.
Genre le escape à un moment.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley
crois que c'était
decided
dans le
to
bureau,
go
après le
up to
bureau
his
encore.
boss's office.
Ah, je peux
Quickly
descendre les
coming to a
escaliers. Non,
staircase,
on teste.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Non, moi je descends. Moi j'ai décidé que je descendais.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense.
Oh
And as
tiens, j'ai
Stanley
une impression de
pondered
déjà
this,
vu.
he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for
J'ai une
that
troisième
matter,
impression de
these
déjà
rooms
vu.
were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. and at last he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Cool, on vole,
Then
trop
he
bien.
imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin.
C'est marrant, hein. Il parle tellement de narrateur qu'en fait j'ai même pas le temps d'en placer une.
Let me wake up.
Il parle, il s'arrête pas, il parle.
I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Le narrateur a volé ton job. Non mais c'est terrible, hein. En plus, je lis ce qu'il écrit, enfin ce qu'il dit et tout, donc je parle pas non plus en même temps.
Stanley began
Non mais regardez, au secours!
Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss, I have an office, I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real, I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
Oh là là, je n'arrête pas de bailler. Ah, je vais essayer de tenir jusqu'à 21h30, hein, mais si jamais je suis vraiment trop crevée, j'arrêterai quand même avant.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Des fois, je commence crevée et j'arrive à avoir un petit regain d'énergie.
She rose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life.
Je dirais même qu'il est très bavard.
So it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Ah! Des vacances de 30 secondes, même pas 10, 15.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Alors du coup, je vais retourner vers la salle de réunion.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Et ce coup-ci, je vais monter au bureau du boss.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oula, non mais je t'ai pas dit de repartir le jeu. Ah, je pensais pas que la porte allait s'ouvrir, tiens. Oh mais... Oh, final... Non mais en fait, il y a tellement de portes que je me suis approchée qui s'ouvraient pas que finalement... Je me suis jamais approchée des autres portes. Enfin, j'ai pas réessayé alors qu'en fait, il y en a que tu peux, en fait, ça marche quand même. La preuve. Oh, on va monter. La prochaine fois, on descendra. Il est bizarre cet ascenseur. Quelques portes marchent, oui, mais pour en fait du coup c'est dommage. Enfin c'est dommage. Dans ma tête j'étais passée en mode les portes ça sert à rien d'essayer de les ouvrir. Ah bah c'est l'ascenseur de l'infini. Oh, c'est pareil, j'hésite à commencer Undertale la semaine prochaine, mais vu que je live pas beaucoup la semaine prochaine et la semaine d'après, je sais pas si je ferais pas mieux d'attendre 2 semaines. Je sais pas combien de temps il dure. Enfin, je sais qu'il y a beaucoup de fins dans Undertale, mais pour le finir une fois. Tu me laisses sortir? Ah oui. Fallait appuyer sur le bouton, t'es sérieux? Ah bah on a vachement bougé, dites donc. C'était très utile. Donc tu me fais croire que je suis en train de bouger, et en fait je ne bouge pas. C'est très intéressant.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings.
Allez, moi je veux le code, là tu me l'avais donné tout à l'heure.
But his attention was caught by a keypad
C'est le même ou pas? Si c'est le même, j'ai pas besoin de toi, c'était 2, 8.
In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
Tu te moques de moi?
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Alors ici... Et du coup on va... Je crois qu'on peut aller par là. C'est après que je vais faire un...
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read
Ah, voilà, il y
Mind
a
Control
escape là. Je me suis dit,
Facility.
on va aller voir par là.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this
Ça
hall,
marche,
Stanley
Mac.
would
Moi,
meet
du
his
coup, je te dis
violent
Bulbasaur, mais
death.
tu ne vas pas m'entendre.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Quelle chute.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see
Pas la
the way
poire.
forward. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life.
Ah, mais je regardais pas.
Farewell, Stanley.
Ah oui, bah adieu. Hein. Chouic. Ah, même pas. Ah bah non. Ah, c'est
Farewell,
très
Stanley,
résistant.
cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Ah, mais je suis encore vivant. Oh, c'est dommage. Au secours.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would
Je ne vois rien.
restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Oh, Stanley Computer. Ah, c'est les bureaux. Ah, gauche, droite. C'est de choix.
When Stanley came to the end, he traveled upward to the power source at the top of the facility. Stanley stood on the injustice forever.
C'est-à-dire, j'entends des voix.
Stanley walked through the green.
Ah, sortie, faut que j'aille par là, peut-être.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to
Oh bah tiens,
control one
on-off, ça
another.
faisait longtemps.
How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now. It'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time.
Chpouic. Pardon. On a fait un écrasé de Stanley. On a perdu le jeu. En fait, c'était sérieux le jeu quand tu me disais qu'il fallait que je fasse échappe et que je quitte. Ouais, ou alors sauf si j'ai mal lu. Pas fait gaffe. Ah, du coup, j'hésite à le faire. Ça se trouve, c'est un piège, il faut que j'attende. Oups. À mon avis, ce n'est pas un piège. Oh, si je mets recommencer à nouveau, alors. Je sais pas. Je me demande s'il m'avait pas dit de retourner dans le menu, d'ailleurs.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could
Bon,
it
maintenant
be?
que j'ai appris que certaines portes
Stanley
s'ouvraient.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Je vais dire, en même temps, toutes les portes là, je peux.
When Stanley came
Ah,
to a
celui-là, il va
set
être
of
bien,
two
parce qu'en
open
plus d'être
doors,
crevé, je
he
commence à
entered the
avoir
door on his left.
plutôt
This was not the
mal
correct
au
way to
bidou.
the meeting room,
Être
and
bien.
Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ah merde, je me suis bourrée, je voulais aller à la salle de réunion encore. Oups.
Wow, yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his
Bon bah
left.
tant pis. Ah, je sais plus où on avait été. Pourquoi on n'avait pas été là?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't
Ah bah non, mais
5
pourquoi
years
écouter?
ago.
Moi je suis pas d'accord.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Oh, il fait tout noir là-dedans. Oh!
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
De toute façon, je peux pas repartir, donc j'ai pas trop le choix.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven.
Il y a un petit gâteau.
All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a button? Who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something.
Ah bah je
Come
peux pas bouger,
inside.
ça oui.
Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story.
Ah, j'ai pas le
now.
choix, je peux pas me barrer.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man
Ah bah pour
named
pas changer.
Stanley.
Bonjour employé 427, veuillez appuyer sur 1 sur votre clavier.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing
est-ce que
exactly
j'ai
what
vraiment le
he's
choix en
told to
fait?
do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Les enfants qui n'existent pas.
He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions, and down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has.
C'est quand même fou tout ce qu'il parle. Oh là là.
The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Alors, bah oui, allons nous coucher dans un lit qui n'existe pas non
And I'm
plus.
trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Ah moi tu m'as dit qu'il fallait pas que j'appuie sur le bouton, mais bon j'imagine que j'aurai pas le choix au bout d'un moment. Je vais pas rester planté là, à ne rien faire.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Veuillez mourir.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Ouais, c'est pas drôle, j'ai même pas eu besoin d'appuyer sur un bouton. Ah bah on recommence. Du coup.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ah, on va l'écouter pour l'instant. Ça et quoi d'avoir des portes qui s'ouvrent pas?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Je crois qu'on s'est déjà descendu, du coup on va quand même... On va
Coming to a
retourner...
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his
Parce qu'on voit
boss's
pas ça, non.
office.
Si, il y a toujours la salle de bain, mais je sais pas à quoi ça sert, je crois. Ah, ils ont changé le message. Et il y avait l'ascenseur, mais à chaque fois que je le prenais, je finissais quand même par... Quand je rouvrais les portes, j'étais toujours au même étage, donc...
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah,
Au
blah,
piano.
blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Kill
Ah mais j'ai déjà les
surprise.
numéros moi du passage. Hein. Hop. Ah non, je voulais pas écrire 5. Ah si j'écris des bêtises, ça fait quoi? Oh, ça fait rien. Mais non mais je voulais... Pourquoi tu veux pas me... Pourquoi j'ai pas le pointeur de la... qui t'affiche comme là d'habitude? Et il est tout cassé le jeu? Là du coup j'arrive pas à viser, c'est infernal. Alors j'ai vraiment fait au hasard du coup niveau visée. Mais même le narrateur il est devenu muet. Au secours. Je dirais même qu'il est devenu un peu trop muet. Ça y est, je l'ai tué. Ah, on va mettre des avis de recherche.
Stanley
Ah non,
walked
ça y
straight
est.
ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape, j'ai déjà pris, mais est-ce que j'ai déjà fait tout ce que je pouvais faire ou pas? Je me souviens plus. Et là-bas, c'est pareil, c'est la suite du jeu, mais est-ce que je peux faire autre chose que ce que j'ai fait pendant la première partie?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Y a pas de... Non, y a que celui-là.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Bon, mais y a que celui-là.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof.
Ah oui, ça
The
c'est vrai,
heart
c'est
of
tous
the
les boutons qu'il y
operation.
avait.
Controls
Je me
labeled
demandais
with
si ça servait à quelque
emotions.
chose, mais j'ai pas trop
Happy
l'impression.
or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of
Si
it
j'essaye de
monitored
marcher
and
là, ça fait
commanded
quoi?
from this very place. And as the
Absolument
cold
rien.
reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life, for he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Oh, si j'appuie là-dessus, j'ai pas appuyé. 5, ouais, mais tout est offline en plus. Tout à l'heure, j'ai appuyé sur off. Si j'appuie sur on, en même temps, le système est allumé là.
He knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Oh, Stanley,
Bah
you
si.
didn't just activate the controls,
Enfin.
did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it,
Oh
Stanley?
cool, on va exploser.
It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires.
J'aurais peut-être pu
this
appuyer
is
sur
much
off,
better
mais je
than
pense
what
pas
I
que ça aurait
had
fait
in
grand
mind.
chose.
What a shame we have so little time
Ok,
left to
je vais
enjoy
essayer.
it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me,
Ah,
where we're
évidemment, non, ça ne
going,
marche plus.
what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing
Comme disant, j'avais même pas
everyone
vu qu'il y avait des
inside,
portes autour de
or I
la
let
salle.
it
Je sais
burn
même
to
pas
a
s'il les
crisp.
ouvrir.
I have to say this though, this version of events has been rather amusing.
Ah, il y a un 4, il y a un 5. Faudrait pas que j'appuie des boutons dans un certain ordre, je cherchais trop loin.
I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
Je sais pas du tout c'est quoi leur histoire de 3
You're in
là.
for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble.
Vous affichez le
This is
2.
not a challenge. It's a tragedy.
Pourquoi vous affichez 2
You
maintenant?
wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first.
Oh, j'ai
so
appuyé sur
you
2.
can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice.
Goodbye, employé. Ouais.
Or don't. It's
Adieu.
all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your
Ouais,
inevitable
5.
life
J'ai tous les
from the
numéros
moment
sauf
we
le
fade
3.
in until the moment I say happily ever after.
Monde. Je pense qu'il y a un truc à faire quand même avec les numéros.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
Ah, je peux... Ah non, je peux juste les éteindre.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either.
Ah mais il y a
Feeling
personne
a
nulle
wave
part, on
of
connaît, hein,
disbelief,
on commence à
Stanley
connaître. Hein.
decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might
Oh.
find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here,
Oh,
so he
c'est pas
turned
drôle.
around and got back on track. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Je sais plus quoi, je... En haut, c'est surtout l'histoire de la bombe, qui est embêtant. En bas, je sais pas si j'ai déjà essayé d'ouvrir toutes les portes et tout, je me rappelle plus. Ah, c'est le truc où il est à moitié drogué, là. Je me souviens. Enfin, drogué, non mais... Qui vole et puis qu'il est dans l'espace. Là-bas, c'est l'ascenseur, c'est pareil. Je me demande s'il y a quand même pas moyen de régler cette histoire d'ascenseur, mais... Hein.
Here's the door, just go.
Ah, il était resté ouvert ce coup-ci? Je veux dire, je vais bientôt faire une pause parce qu'on est bientôt à la moitié du live.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Et ici, est-ce qu'on a tout fait? Pour
Although
s'échapper, je
this
me souviens.
passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the
Ah
end
oui,
of this
c'était,
hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Le sol va se dérober, non?
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward.
Mais je voulais
and
juste voir s'il n'y avait pas
willingly
de porte que
confront
j'avais
his
loupée.
death.
Je pense pas en fait. Ah, tant pis, on va se faire réécrabouiller.
Stanley was inching closer and closer to his demise.
Enthousiasme.
He reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real
Je pense
story.
pas qu'il y ait moyen de...
Trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Oh, mais ah oui, c'est vrai qu'il y a une petite
Farewell,
séquence.
Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet
Ah,
it would be just
je
a
vais
few
ratterrir dans le
minutes
musée
before
encore, c'est vrai.
Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making
Et
life
ça, c'est
the
les 5
same.
boutons.
Do
Non,
you
ça me
see
fait
now?
penser aux 5 boutons
Do you
pour la
see
bombe.
that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Trois reproductions du bureau 427. Ouais, je sais, c'est la sortie, mais il y a juste moyen d'aller à la sortie en fait. On sait qu'il y a peut-être moyen de faire autre chose dans le musée. Ouais, ça c'est le truc de l'appart. Bon bah je crois que j'étais obligée d'aller prendre la sortie, hein. Qui est je ne sais même plus où.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game.
La dernière fois j'ai dû recommencer le jeu quand même. Je me souviens qu'après ça m'a mis un écran noir de l'infini. Il me semble. Oh mais il y a des feuilles partout. Il n'y en avait pas tout à
All of
l'heure.
his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
Ouais, c'est une nouvelle déco là.
When
Ah, mais il y en
Stanley
a
came
plus.
to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
J'allais dire, je pense que je vais faire la pause ici, pendant que je suis entre deux parties. Enfin, entre deux parties, entre deux trucs. Oula. Hop. Ah, de toute façon, c'est approximativement à la moitié du live quand j'en fais une. Plus ou moins longue. C'est que des fois, je fais genre 30 secondes de pause. Hop, la musique, et du coup... OBS, où es-tu? Du coup, moi, je vous dis à suite. Bulbireux. J'ai bien remis le son. Yep. Yep, yep, du coup. Du coup, j'en étais là. Bah après, j'allais dire, de ce qui est visible, j'ai l'impression que j'ai déjà fait pas mal de trucs. Et à
This
mon
was
avis...
not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
À mon avis, il doit y en avoir des plus planqués. Mais où ça? C'est une très bonne question.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Non. Au revoir.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ça ne s'ouvre pas. Je meurs si je tombe en bas.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not...
Ah oui,
But in
aïe,
his
oui,
eagerness
aïe.
to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform
Pardon.
and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley.
Même je me suis dit,
Everyone
on sait
thinks you are
jamais.
very powerful. Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all. When Stanley came to a set of two open... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Déjà, c'est peut-être un peu trop tard pour réagir, et de toute façon, je peux pas sauter en fait, je viens de penser dans le jeu. Je peux toujours essayer d'appuyer sur ma barre espace, ça ne marchera pas. Donc en fait, je pense que je peux pas y aller sur la passerelle.
Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Il fait tout noir. Ah, c'est le téléphone. Non, mais et si je veux pas répondre? La dernière fois, on a répondu. Je peux pas taper le téléphone?
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly. I didn't even know that was possible.
D'ailleurs, Raven, toi qui as fait le jeu... Ce que j'allais dire, j'ai l'impression que j'ai fait toutes les fins qui étaient à peu près, on va dire, faciles à trouver, mais j'imagine qu'il y a des trucs beaucoup plus tordus, hein.
Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action.
Mais moi, je suis dissidente, tu ne... Voilà.
None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't.
Mais c'est dur de dire comme ça.
Why had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being
J'ai
a
fait
real
l'endroit où il y avait
person.
la bombe
But if
aussi,
used
l'explosion,
incorrectly,
mais
can
je
also
pensais
be
qu'il y avait
the
un moyen
most
de sortir, mais je
dangerous.
suis pas sûre.
For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer
Même en
radius of
anglais,
his
hein, mais
house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
Tout ça parce que je suis dissidente.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process.
Oh,
Most medical
crocodile.
professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a
Il fallait
result of
obéir,
narrative
non?
contradiction. But
J'aime
not
pas
to worry.
obéir.
Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see
Ah
what the
non.
correct thing to do would have
Non,
been.
mais je refuse toujours
This way,
d'obéir.
please.
Pourquoi tu me fais retourner là? Faut que je retourne sur la plateforme?
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform.
Mais je veux
and dying.
mourir! Pardon.
Imagine the main character
Je ne veux
dying
pas écouter
senselessly
plutôt.
halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Ouais, par contre, je pense que j'arrêterai là en 21h30 puisque ma fatigue ne passe toujours pas, hein. Je pense qu'il y a un moment, je vais m'endormir en live, ça va être concept. Le jeu n'a aucun sens, absolument aucun, hein. Ah, ça me rappelle Virginia, hein. Excusez-moi, hein, mais... en moins pire.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending. The story will have resolution once again.
Je peux pas prendre la
and you'll
porte à
be
gauche.
home
Quelle porte à
free
gauche?
in
Moi, je suis
the
pas
real
d'accord.
world.
Stream dodo, je pense que je vais aller faire une sieste après le live. Et en plus, alors, déjà j'ai pas beaucoup dormi cette nuit et j'ai très mal dormi.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ah mais je n'écoute rien.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Non. Moi je reste là. Je veux pas. Ah, mais c'est pas drôle, tu vas me forcer à aller de l'autre côté le jeu. Désolé. Et si j'y retourne une deuxième fois? Non, tu t'en fous. Mais je veux pas obéir. Ouais, je vais obéir, j'ai compris. Pas ressortir. Ah, voilà, j'ai écouté. Ah bah tout... Ah bah
I can't believe after everything
voilà.
we talked about that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do?
J'ai tout cassé. C'est bien.
No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
Ah, quel tricheur.
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh.
Ouais, un enfant de 27 ans.
If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard.
Ah bah j'aurais même pas la fin.
Exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always
Qu'est-ce qu'on fout
putting
là?
the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right.
Non mais je suis pas d'accord.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Non.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley
Ah
would.
mais j'ai pas le
That
choix.
means
Hein.
choosing responsibly
Je vais encore
and
essayer une
always
dernière fois parce
putting
que je suis un
the
petit peu
story
têtu.
first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Non.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
J'ai compris, je vais aller à gauche.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means
On
choosing
peut même plus être
responsibly
dissident
and
jusqu'au
always
bout. Hein.
putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Je pouvais pas? Il me semblait que je pouvais aller dans le placard avant. Ou j'ai rêvé. C'était peut-être plus...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his
Mais c'est
boss's
pas drôle, on a
office.
repris le cours de l'histoire. Moi je voulais continuer à dissidenter. Oui, j'invente des mots.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not
J'allais
an
dire, en
indication
fait
of
le
any
bureau
human
il est plus
life.
comme avant.
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Je veux bien te le donner, hein, le code, mais...
Stanley spoke the
Ah,
code.
quand même.
Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Mais
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Et je veux bien, moi, c'est lui qui veut pas. Ah, remets-toi en face.
Okay, fine, you're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better
C'est bien, je
things to
suis
do.
dissidente, même sans faire
I asked you
exprès.
for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Qu'est-ce qu'on fout là-haut?
Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay?
Ah, c'est lui, Stanley.
Please, I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me?
Comment ça, à la fin? Merci d'avoir joué à The Stanley Parable.
Is everything all right?
Ah, je ne suis pas d'accord.
This is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important.
Le désespoir du narrateur.
I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Bon. Et je suis sûre qu'il me reste encore des trucs à trouver. D'ailleurs, dans ce bureau, est-ce qu'on a tout? Il y a pas moyen de faire quoi que ce soit. Comment ça là?
Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure.
Bon bah,
What if he had to make a
enfermons-nous. Hein.
decision? What if
Ah bah,
a crucial
c'est fabuleux,
outcome
je
fell
peux
under
ouvrir la
his
porte.
responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Bon. Je sais pas trop ce qui me manque comme fin. Je suis sûre que Raven elle est repartie
Even
loin.
now, Stanley's
Elle me
office
donnera
was
pas
a
d'indice.
distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his
Pareil, les ordi
co-workers.
allumés, mais j'ai l'impression que ça sert à grand chose de les éteindre.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
À gauche, il y a le placard à balai qui me perturbe, moi. Il est où? Loin?
Yet there was not a
Pourquoi il y a un
single
placard à
person
balai
here
ça sert à
either.
rien?
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Oh no, no,
Ah,
not
si,
again.
si.
I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Ah mais si j'y retourne tu dis rien ou alors il faut que j'y retourne pendant une autre... C'est bizarre quand même cette histoire de plaquet. De plaquet. Ça y est, la fille ne sait plus parler de placard.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Pareil, là il y a la salle de bain. Je ne sais pas à quoi elle sert. À part mettre des messages à chaque fois. L'ascenseur qui est à droite, c'est pareil, j'ai pas trouvé comment l'utiliser. Ah bah tiens, il est redevenu normal.
Here's the door, just go.
Bureau.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ah. On va aller mourir plus vite. De toute façon, je pense qu'il n'y a rien d'autre plus que ce que j'ai déjà fait
Although
du
this
côté-là, des
passageway
deux
had the
côtés-là.
word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this
Oh, bah allons
hall,
mourir violemment.
Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death. As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Vas-y, tue-moi. Ah non, c'est pas encore là. Ah oui, non mais c'est vrai, on va atterrir dans le musée, il faut que je prenne la sortie
before
exit.
Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was
Je
going
sais
to
pas du tout où
accomplish?
est-ce que j'ai pu... Qui me manque.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Par là-haut. De... là.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be
Ça
free.
c'est bon.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two.
Et
You
du
can
coup, de toute façon,
stop
là, il
the
va me dire de
program
relancer
before
le
they
jeu.
both fail.
Quoi qu'il arrive, on cope. J'ai vraiment aucune idée à part mon placard à
All of his
balai que
co-workers
j'ai...
were gone. What could
ou
it
qui
mean?
ronchonne à chaque fois que je mets un pied
Stanley
dedans.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley
mais on peut
decided
dans
to
le
go up
placard?
to his boss's office, hoping he
Ah mais je
might
suis
find an
déçue.
answer there.
Tu as barricadé le placard. Bravo. Hop.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Et il y en a 22, je pense que... Je suis crevée, je vais pas tarder. Là, j'aurais fait un mini-stream hein, aujourd'hui. En même temps,
Stanley came to a set of
je veux dire,
2
j'en
open
profite aussi que ce
doors.
soit un
He
jeu
entered the
court.
door on his left.
Je sais pas du tout qu'est-ce que je pourrais... Qu'est-ce que j'ai pas fait. Je sais même pas ce qui me manque comme fin ou pas. Je sais même pas combien il y a de fins en fait en tout. Je crois qu'il y en a une grosse dizaine. Les trucs les plus flagrants, je les ai faits. Et j'ai même eu le générique de fin. Désolée, j'étais au tel. Ah là, Raven. Dis-moi. Toi qui as déjà fait le jeu. Je disais, j'ai plus aucune idée. En plus, je suis crevée, donc j'ai pas beaucoup j'ai le cerveau un peu out. Mais je disais, j'ai l'impression que j'ai fait les trucs les plus visibles et j'ai même fait une fin où, où j'ai eu le générique de fin à la fin. J'ai réussi à verrouiller le placard à balai d'ailleurs qui est derrière des planches de bois maintenant. Je me suis aussi enfermée dans mon bureau. J'ai aussi fait la fin où il y a la bombe et où tu exploses. Les 2 fins avec le téléphone. D'ailleurs, je me demande si c'était pas avec la fin avec le générique, c'était pas la fin où j'ai débranché le téléphone. Qu'est-ce que j'ai fait d'autre? J'ai oublié. Je me suis suicidée aussi de la plateforme jaune. J'ai aussi été très dissidente, il a pas aimé. Hein. Et après, ça avait transformé le bureau du directeur et tout. Enfin, c'était des hauts... Et qu'est-ce que j'ai fait d'autre? J'ai oublié. Évidemment, j'ai fait la première fin du début. Hein. J'ai aussi tenté des trucs avec l'ascenseur. Mais l'ascenseur était un peu ronchon. Où tu sautes plusieurs fois, j'ai sauté une fois de la plateforme jaune. Tu veux dire qu'il faut que j'y retourne et que je ressaute plusieurs fois? Non. Ah, puis j'ai aussi fait la fin où je me fais écraser dans le truc là. Non, mais tu peux te laisser tomber et atteindre un autre endroit si mes souvenirs sont bons.
This was not the correct way
Ah bah
to
s'il
the
faut,
meeting room, and
s'il faut de
Stanley
l'agilité
knew
dans le jeu, on est dans la merde. Hein.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ils auraient dû faire un truc pour savoir combien de fins il te reste au total et combien t'en as déjà fait. Même sans donner d'indice. C'est peut-être... quoique, est-ce que je peux réussir à sauter là? Oh mon Dieu. Je vais mourir encore. Ça j'avais vu tout à l'heure et je me suis dit je vais pas pouvoir sauter, mais en fait si... Ah j'aurais dû oser en fait. Ouais mais je m'étais fait la réflexion, je me suis dit que j'allais mourir. Mais donc j'arriverai pas à atteindre la plateforme.
Now listen carefully, this is important.
Ah bah non.
Stanley walked
Tu veux
through
traverser
the
la
red
porte
door.
rouge, moi je vais traverser la porte bleue.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
C'est pas juste. Ah mais il y a une porte bleue là.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there?
T'as essayé de me piéger, mais tu ne m'auras pas.
At the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me, you give me
a écrit dedans un
absolutely
grand bol de
nothing
vide.
so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before.
Ça?
Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Est-ce que je réponds? Dans 10 minutes, ça marche.
Oh, of course. A 3. Really? Maybe next time we can get you to form an actual opinion, you know? Any level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings? Does that sound good? Think we can do that? Yes? Wonderful.
Y a pas 0.
Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Ouais, faut que j'y retourne.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors?
Tableau des scores, j'ai même pas vu.
Answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play
le gosse. Mais c'est une excellente idée, hein, monsieur Chat.
To keep notes on your experience.
Sur Vadex approuverait. Je testais pour voir, mais laissons-le bout.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas.
Et
I
Bulbissa,
can't
Super
think of
Guigui,
a
tu vas bien?
single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Oula!
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last,
Tu as
the
un
one
mot,
thing you've always
félicitations.
desired.
Ah,
A game I had absolutely
merci.
nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough?
Ça y est, ils se sont crus dans
Well, I'll say
Minecraft.
this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No, here.
Ah, t'es là.
And then...
Ah, tu pourrais la construire un peu plus vite, hein, la maison.
Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own
Vous imaginez si on
inadequacy.
construisait tous des maisons comme
But
ça
you've
dans
only seen
Minecraft?
it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make
Ah
yourself
bah vu que j'ai le
comfortable.
choix.
Isn't
C'est-à-dire,
it
encore faudrait-il
grand?
que je passe la porte.
Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining. Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you
Ah
got
bah
a
non,
light?
hein, moi j'y vais comme ça, tu me dis. T'as rien donné, hein.
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do
Ah bah
at
pour
all.
l'instant,
1
c'est
out of
surtout que je vois
5.
absolument rien.
Even the
0
time
sur
must have
20.
saved this one. Okay, new game. Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box.
mais
with
c'est
no way
Portal.
out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay,
Trop
now
bien.
I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Ah moi je casse tout. Ah j'aimerais bien sortir quand même, hein. C'est trop bien, Portal. Ah, j'avais pas vu qu'il y avait plus de vie, qu'il y avait pas de vitre. Oh, ça me donne envie de rejouer à Portal, c'est dramatique.
It's a puzzle.
Bah non, mais
Critical thinking, Stanley.
c'est-à-dire que contrairement à Portal, hein, je ne peux rien faire. Oh. Ah si, je pourrais quand même le porter.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any
c'est
more
pas
of these
juste.
games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough. So, why don't you get cozy in this room, and if you have any grand revolutionary ideas for the perfect video game, you can just sit there and let it ball up inside you for all eternity. I don't need your advice. I don't need your ratings. And I certainly don't need the validation of a man whose job is to push buttons. I think I'll just go about my business, making meaningful cultural contributions to the world. And perhaps every now and then I'll think back to a man named Stanley who was objectively wrong in every decision he ever made. The thought won't last long. Goodbye, Stanley. Good luck with your work. And I sincerely hope that everyone lives happily ever after.
Ah! Non, je peux pas m'en aller, faut que je me jette là-dedans. Oups. J'allais dire, il fait un peu sombre dans le coin. J'en connais une qui va se perdre encore. Ah, de la lumière. Ouais, 427, c'est mon bureau, ça, non? Le numéro, hein, du moins. Pas l'air d'avoir moyen de faire quoi que ce soit, en fait. Pourquoi je vais m'en aller? C'est bizarre, parce que c'est ce qui me paraissait le plus... Ah, il suffisait de faire demi-tour?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
J'allais dire, allô, le jeu? Oh, on est revenu au point de départ. Tiens donc. Une pinte plus. Ah bah, de toute façon, monsieur Chat, je vais arrêter le live ici. Je dis que j'en peux plus. De toute façon, je pense que j'ai déjà... Voilà, pardon. J'ai déjà bien fait le tour du jeu, quand même. Et j'ai pas le courage de... J'ai pas le courage de lancer un autre jeu. Et, je vais partir à la sieste. Bulbisoir FF, tu vas bien? Ah oui, bah là, t'arrives bien à la fin. Je suis capoute. Non, je disais que j'étais crevée, FF, tu vois. Hein. Et comme je te le dis si bien, et quand je dis qu'il faut écouter son corps, hein, ah là, hein, je m'applique la même chose à moi-même. Tu l'as fini combien de fois? Trop. Je pense qu'il me manque quelques fins quand même. Mais je sais pas lesquels, je pense que c'est les plus tordus qui me manquent. Mais dire, je vais lire sans indice, je suis pas sûre que je vais les trouver. Warg. C'est quoi tous ces gens qui débarquent quand je m'en vais? Déjà fini? Je disais que j'étais crevée et qu'il fallait que j'écoute mon corps. Je suis en train de dormir debout depuis tout à l'heure. Enfin, du moins, je dors assise parce qu'en fait, je ne live pas debout, mais. Voilà. Je vais vous faire bailler, ne me remerciez pas, hein. Elle est fatiguée. Oui, oui. Bien fatiguée. Je suis pas assez fait dodo. Je comprends bien, pareil, je suis encore dans une semi-forme aujourd'hui. Tu live ce soir? Je me souviens plus, il me semble, hein. C'est après, c'est demain ta pause, et après-demain, donc tu fais une pause. Ah oui, oui, tu live ce soir. Du coup, tu vas nous faire un demi-live aussi. Il paraît, oui. Si tu te rendors pas, et que tu te réveilles à temps. Et je disais, ouais, non, parce que... Ouais, ça marche, monsieur Chabulbi Appétit, je ne te retiens pas. Et ouais, non, je disais, niveau fin, je pense que j'ai quand même fait les plus gros. J'ai eu le générique de fin, et je pense que j'en ai fait une petite dizaine. Surtout sur Baba Is You, les casse-têtes vont m'atomiser le cerveau. Mais il a l'air bien, Baba Is You. Mais j'allais dire, Néo, toi, justement, c'est bien ton genre de jeu. Je pense que il devrait bien te plaire, Baba Is You. Du coup, moi, je vais vous abandonner ici. Ça n'en a pas que l'air. Ça aussi, la chanson. Bisous, bisous, oui. Je ne vais pas me laisser retenir pendant 3 heures, n'est-ce pas? Ah, mais moi, je suis sûre qu'il va bien aimer. Bon, après, il va attendre la fin de sa deadline. Enfin, sa deadline avant de jouer. Du coup, moi, je vous souhaite une... Enfin, non, demain, on se retrouve pour... On se retrouve pour quoi? Ah! Coop avec Shadow sur Human Fall Flood. Ce jeu n'a aucun sens. Vendredi, je termine... Enfin, je termine, en fait, je le terminerai pas, à mon avis, mais A Plague Tale Innocence, et dimanche, FF7. Du coup, moi, j'arrête pas de taper dans mon bureau, en fait, ça va vous casser les oreilles. Moi, mais en plus, je continue, hein. Moi, je vous souhaite une bulbi soirée, une bulbi nuit, je vous fais des bulbisous, et je vous dis à bientôt. Avec la musique que je n'ai pas préparée, évidemment. Et à plus tard sur ton live, évidemment, FF.
Salut Bulbilou, merci pour le host, merci beaucoup et bienvenue à ceux qui arrivent sur Shenmue. C'est un peu particulier, mais si ça vous intéresse, imprégnez-vous de cette ambiance spéciale.